Hey everybody, it's Carm here. And Elma, is that what it is? Courtesy of the great DJ Trish. Surprised me with another package. Came a little while ago, but getting around to showing these now. Took a little break in general from YouTube and the internet for the most part. I just peek in here and there, but kind of slowly getting back into the groove and planning on making videos for a while with different themes, but just haven't been able to get going with them. But maybe hopefully soon. But yeah, wanted to come on and say hi and share these, as well as a few other current listens. Zephyr, she's spoiling me here, and know many of you. Of course, the various stickers and decals. Yeah, Green Planet Coffee. Looks very good. I think she's hinting I need to finally really visit this place. Need to get out there. At Bayhead Cheese Shop and Bottles too. His heart. Blazing visuals. Pray for surf. It's about that time. It really feels like the last week or so. It's felt like the middle of July. It's it's late May. Very summer-like. Very fun, kind of looks like a surrealist take on The Simpsons. This one. And of course, DJ's card. Various styles here. And as ever, very eclectic gifts here. They sent 3 this time. 3 CDs, Jammin' 2021. Yeah, if you know DJ Trish, I mean, she knows her music, and very eclectic, very fun mixture of styles and eras and artists. For many different purposes. Very generously, the CDs are, she really fills out the time too. The Travel Seeds, Eddie Grant, Jimmy Cliff, Caribbean All-Star Band, Manu Dibango. Yeah, very fun. Yeah, always over the years I really enjoy using these for playing these in the background, doing spring cleaning or yard work. Fun for the car, just anything. We have a Spring Thing number 1 and 2. I just love her the way she illustrates these. This one's eclectic even by her Trish standards. Yeah. Even a cut from my all-time favorite Can album, Future Days. I was listening to them a little while back. If I had to pick a top 3 from them, I'd say Future Days, Soon Over Babaluma, and Right Time. Those would be my 3 favorites if I had to. You're stranded on a deserted island with 3 albums. Those would be from that group. Those would be the ones. We have number 2 here. Lots of soul and R&B on this one. Aretha Franklin, Black Pumas, Courtney Pine, Marvin Gaye. Well, thank you as always, Trish, for always spoiling me here, and again making sure we're all nourished with good music. So always doing that. So thank you. I hadn't seen her videos in a while. The last one I'd seen a little while back, she was doing riding around her neighborhood. There's bike ride videos and kind of showing you how spring is shaping up and blooming in her area on the Jersey Shore. So it's always fun. So yeah, in addition to that, I just want to share a few things I've been spinning. Not a whole lot actually. Not listening in the usual way where it's just a bunch of things, looking to pick from them. I have things put aside for future video ideas, but a lot of it's just how it is when you have a larger collection. Sometimes you just you'll get settled on maybe a half a dozen things in the rotation, and you'll just kind of keep going around. And it's kind of how it's been lately. I'll play one or two things for several days, and just that. Something I've been enjoying for a while now. David Hudson, Rainbow Serpent, music for didgeridoo and percussion. Traditional Australian Aboriginal artist. Well, he's played and collaborated with a lot of different artists from around the world, including Yanni. He toured with him for some time. Celestial Harmonies, a label that I've long been a sucker for. Anything that's on there, whether I know it or not, usually want it. In 1994, produced by Steve Roach. I first became aware of him and the didgeridoo through Steve Roach's his late 80s recordings, like Dreamtime Return and Australia, Sound of the Earth. And he was exploring that music himself and was bringing it to greater attention. And on here it's mainly just just David playing didgeridoo and percussion. Sparse, but also quite expansive. He really has extended the bounds of, you think of the didgeridoo, there's not much as far as maybe the tonality. There's a lot to the actual sound and timbre, but as far as, you don't think of it as being a tuneful instrument necessarily, the didgeridoo. He somehow manages to kind of overcome the boundaries of it in a way to make it more musical and accessible beyond just being rhythmic. And of course with the added percussion, adds more texture to it as well. But if you're curious about the didgeridoo, he's about as good as a player to start with. It's something I've enjoyed for quite a while. I have his other album, his first album, Wulunda, which is just solo didgeridoo, which I always consider to be kind of I think of it as naturally psychedelic music, in that it's not really, it's not striving for that stylistically, but there's just something inherent in it that's very consciousness expanding, and just it has a certain quiet intensity to it, but just gets so much out of it. There's the land itself there. So I very much recommend it if you want to get into Australian Aboriginal music. David Hudson, Rainbow Serpent, didgeridoo and percussion. Something along similar lines. A part of the world. Track to Bumblawa. Didgeridoo and World Sounds by Tom Wassinger and Jim Harvey. And this will be a little more accessible. You have the didgeridoo and the percussion. You also have keyboards and guitars. So a little more of the Western, say American and European influence. Should be a good kind of a bridge or a way station to look further into this music. There's also the sounds of the land, like on location, environmental sounds, as well as dialogue and spoken word of people in different areas of Australia kind of mixed in. So you get kind of a full kind of ambience in that way. The first cut, which is called Call, really sounds like you could be sailing to the island and you're landing there and it's dusk. It's getting pretty dark, but you could still see a little bit of light on the horizon, and you're coming across this mysterious land, and it's even more mysterious and a little more uncertain because it's so dark. It just has that feel to it, and you're not going to get to find out more until the next morning. So you're in for an interesting journey. It's very evocative. Again, dark in more of a mysterious way. Not it's still very appealing, and it kind of beckons you in. and little little preview to a future series I'm looking to do. This is something I learned of from Musical Star Streams, one of many things from years ago. So I featured this sort of thing. Yeah, Trek to Bumblewa, Tom Wassinger and Jim Harvey. And continuing on with more of Tom Wassinger. Rock music. Quite literally rock music. Music actually made from the sound of rocks and stones being struck. What he did was play the rocks, the different tones, record them, and then play them on a keyboard sampler. So you could actually, play it with melodies and just as you would, regular keyboard, but all sourced from various stones and rocks. Just drawing from the acoustic properties of the instruments, making them into true instruments. Here's the artist himself, Mr. Wassinger. And the various sources there. Jade, sandstone, basanite, flagstone, andesite, and river rocks in agate from various states plus Brazil. It's a real nice kind of equilibrium between the accessible and the experimental on here. I think, as far as I can tell, he's pretty much recording them, for the sampler straight on. There's not really, doesn't sound like there's really effects or any kind of a lot of studio manipulation. When he's playing the keyboard, you could hear what sounds like pitch bending at times, just bending the notes with a little knob on the keyboard. But for the most part, it sounds, the unadulterated sounds played through the sampler, and it's very easy to get into. Again, kind of has that nice mixture of being kind of odd and surreal, but also melodically accessible. So if you just like, very, and the melodies are fairly simple and straightforward, but just knowing that they're sourced from just the sound of these rocks and stones is it makes it all the more fascinating. To me anyway. But, yeah, another side of true rock music here. But yeah, Tom Wassinger, rock music from 1989 on Invincible. Oh, I didn't mention this previous one's from 91 on Silver Wave. Yeah, very interesting and unusual stuff here. And a couple more. This is in a revisit I've really been enjoying. Summerland, Michael Dana and Tim Clement, French-Canadian artists, keyboards and guitars. Absolutely beautiful. The duo that's been together for quite some time, a lot of albums over the years. There's a bonus cut from A Gradual Awakening, which is another album they did, which really adds nicely to this. But really perfectly captures and illustrates, evokes summer. For me, the best part of summer. It's always been a season I've been iffy on, being not the biggest fan of hot weather, but this is more like the summer that, of childhood, of these long, expansive, timeless, endless days, where it just felt like it was going to go on forever, where you just kind of lose yourself in just everything. The pacing, everything's very slow and hazy, and it's that feeling of laying on your back and watching the clouds move through the treetops. Throughout, it really has that feeling to it. And the longest cut on here, To the Land Beneath the Waves, I have a associated memory with that. About 11 or 12 years ago, on a trip to Arizona, I actually had the cassette of this before, and had brought it with me, staying with my friends. We had gone from Arizona to Laughlin, Nevada, en route to another area, but we were right on the Colorado River, the hotel we were staying at, and I'm in my room waiting. I think a couple hours later we're going to meet up later for dinner, and had the window open, and the river. You could hear the river going on one side, and I had a little Radio Shack tape recorder with a speaker on it, playing the tape of this on the dresser, kind of in my left, so I could hear the river here and the music here, which also had the sound of the surf as well as their kind of swirling, undulating, slowly kind of morphing synthesizers, and the way they just kind of played together. It was probably one of the most relaxing times I'd ever had on a vacation, which was funny because it wasn't actually in Arizona at my usual places. It was here in a hotel in Laughlin, Nevada, with the river and the sound of Summerland just again kind of swirling together, and it was just perfect. In this album, if you want something that if you need to slow down inwardly, outwardly for a while, this is as good as anything I've ever heard, especially the long cut, To the Land Beneath the Waves. You put the whole album on repeat, or just that one, but that one song, but still one of the most powerful experiences I've had, with music kind of as therapy, and and totally unexpected, just the way that and the environment play together. It's just fantastic. So yeah, Summerland by Dan and Clement. Anything by either one of them, whether solo or as a duo, is to me is very worth hearing. Yeah, Summerland. And finally here, so this is something found fairly recently at Half Price Books. Artist that I've been curious about and was happy and surprised to see something of his there. Omar Farouk Tekbalek. He's an artist of Turkish and Egyptian ancestry. Another one on Celestial Harmonies. Multi-instrumentalist. Plays the ney flute, as well as other woodwinds and very stringed instruments, or percussion. I've heard of him for quite some time, and finally getting to hear him up close after a long time. A nice blend of Middle Eastern music, more traditional Middle Eastern music, and Western influences with guitars and keyboards, played by Brian Keane, as well as a fellow named Arto something, who I think is pretty well known for having a last name that's very hard to pronounce. He's played with a lot of different artists. You'll see him pop up in a lot of different albums, including Oregon. Played with them during the mid-90s, and you can see all the instruments that Omar plays here. Very beautiful, it kind of reminds me of Passion, Peter Gabriel's Passion. Not as dark, maybe a little bit more earthy in a way, more traditional in a sense, but it's a nice, you could say it's like the brighter side of Passion maybe to a certain degree, but also very hypnotic and evocative. The first piece, it's worth it for the first piece alone, a whirling dervish, a real sense of patience and kind of gradually unfolding. It's definitely felt in the music, which I think is something that anything I hear on Celestial Harmonies seems to have that quality. Whoever the artist is and whatever they're doing, has that sense of patience in the music, just allowing it to unfold of its accord. So if you're interested in Middle Eastern music and want something again that's kind of a little easier entryway, this would be a good one. I think his early stuff in general. Omar Farouk Tekbalek. Yeah, a little bit like the track to Bamblawa, kind of makes it a little more accessible to getting into the music that's a little more, a little more exotic or indigenous. So, yeah. Whirling. Omar Farouk Tekbalek. So, yeah. That's all I have to show for now. Again, not listening to a whole lot of things right now. Just kind of allowing each album to sort of marinate for a while and just kind of seep into one's consciousness and before moving on to something else. Not really planning, but yeah, we'll see what comes next. Have a few things planned, and we'll see. They'll come out when they come. So hope we're all doing as well as possible. Slowly catching up on watching videos. Yeah, I see there's a lot going on in general with threads and contests and top. I think I see Jeff has his top 100 videos or top 100 albums videos. John Digital Gramophone is his top 200. His own take on it. You know, Shannon had done hers, and yeah, so there's a lot of activity. So gradually catching up with everyone, and I get something going here myself eventually. Hope we're all doing as well as possible, and it's nice where you're at, spring-like, and before I forget, the boys, they're doing very well. They're up to the usual to get them back in a video sooner or later. Well, just want to come on and share these. Thanks once again, Trish, very much. Your generosity, I can't put it into words. Always appreciated. Well, to the next one. Peace, love, and joy.